AskReddit by Smile Paint. What's one thing people were taught in school back in the days that is totally wrong or outdated now? The appendix has no purpose. I just learned last night that it has one. Wild shit. Left brain right brain personality. My 6th grade art teacher swore by this. It was her entire approach to art. She basically said that the key to being a good artist is to learn how to work within your right hemisphere as much as possible. If you are completely within your right hemisphere, your art will be perfect. If your art has a mistake, it is because you were using your left hemisphere too much. I have an art degree now and that is such horseshit lol. The different taste zones on the tongue. At least my teacher told us that those are regions where certain taste buds have higher concentrations numbers, as we clearly can taste different things at the same part of the tongue. I get free narcotics from strangers on the street corners and in Halloween candy. In kindergarten, I was told not to accept temporary tattoos from strangers because they might have acid on them. Never in my life have I seen some random person handing out temporary tattoos to kids on the street. B. Never in my life have I seen some random person handing out drugs to kids on the street. I went to Catholic school growing up in NJ, late 90s, so not super long ago, and the nuns told all the girls that if they went swimming in a pool at the same time as boys, they would get pregnant because the sperm would swim through the water. The nuns as teachers thing was already being phased out at this time, so all the regular teachers would reassure everyone this was total BS. Every now and then you get a new story about a girl who went to some exotic country for a vacation, and came home pregnant because of pool hot tub lake sperm. And it takes about 3 seconds to realize that the only way you can pregnant by sharing a hot tub is by lying about not having had sex in it. That your veins look blue because blood is blue before receiving oxygen. Little dumb child me thought it was the coolest thing when my teacher told us that. I mean, it was meant to show oxygen entering and leaving, but yeah, a note would have helped a long way. Dare. It was a huge failure, but we kept pouring money into it. They should have gone with our take on it, may have been more effective. Drugs are really expensive. The fucking food pyramid. I only learned in the last few years, in my 30s now, that it's a load of shit. Yeah, research paid for by the companies who provide the kinds of food that coincidentally sit at the base of the pyramid. Nobody needs to drink that much milk or consume so much bread. If he's mean to you, he has a crush on you. If you ignore them, they'll get bored and stop teasing you. In 3rd grade we were taught square dancing all year. I can still do it, but have never used it in the 50 years since. We did it as part of pay. It does teach some coordination skills, I guess, and memory skills. I was in high school in the late 2010s. My French textbook was old enough that my mom could have used it. They still used francs and talked about email like it was some crazy new invention. The youth slang was laughable. I remember about 20 years before that learning that the French had an early version of the internet. You had to buy a special device and it had things like train schedules and weather. All text, of course. You won't just have a calculator in your pocket at all times. I had a teacher say this in 2013 when we indeed already had calculators in our pockets. I'm from Russia. And we were taught to always listen to those who are older, not to stand out from the crowd and not to take the initiative. Trying to be like everyone else. It's horrible and destructive to life. The Japanese say, hammer down the nail that sticks out. That college was the only path to a happy life. Yup, and study what makes you happy. Just having a degree in any subject will get you a lifelong job because they'll respect your thirst for knowledge. Pluto has been deplaneted. I've taught my kids to recite the planets as Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune and, sometimes Pluto. Zaire is a country. Our maps also still showed Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia for a while. They were a bit old though, the teachers let us know they weren't around anymore. The maps did not contain the USSR or two Germanies, so I assume the school had gotten new maps in 91 or 92 and didn't want to throw them out right away. Zaire became the DRC when I was in 2nd grade, but I was actively taught to identify it as Zaire as late as 6th grade, so I guess my teachers really did not pay attention to African events. I then never needed to discuss this country again until college, so I figured it out embarrassingly late. Also Southwest Africa and Rhodesia, two others that I remember from elementary school. They are both Namibia and Zimbabwe today. Sex ed in the early mid-90s was somewhat like in Mean Girls, except all about how AIDS would kill us all, even with condom use. AIDS was legit frightening in the 80s and 90s. I got tested for it once. It was theoretically possible for me to have had it, but unlikely, and I felt like I was waiting for the results of a death sentence. Like if I had it, my life would be over that day. And I had to wait 7 days for the results. A lot of things already listed, but one I haven't seen mentioned was learning about Rosa Parks, and they framed it like she was just tired and didn't want to give up her seat, and it happened to be a powerful statement that helped this movement start. It was almost a decade later that I learned this was absolutely a planned protest and the woman knew exactly what she was doing, and what a risk it was. I'm still angry at them for taking that away from her. She wasn't even the first woman to take a stand against the bus company. That was Claudette Colvin. The leaders of the civil rights movement didn't want to use her as a figurehead because she was pregnant and unmarried. Rosa Parks was chosen because she was a better fit to be the symbol they wanted. If you need to go to the restroom, you'll just have to hold it until class is over. I've read at least a couple of stories right here on Reddit from folks who suffered urinary tract infections and even kidney damage because of that BS. My former boss sort of razzed me at work when we were in an informal team meeting and I asked if I could go to the bathroom. I was literally about to shit myself otherwise. Schools shouldn't condition kids for this. That Dr. King was a peaceful protester and Malcolm X was violent. It was definitely more nuanced than that for both of them. They really turned this on its head in the movie Malcolm X. Also, reading King's letter from the Birmingham jail is a good way to see that he wasn't this friendly guy they painted him to be. To only use their right hand for writing. Born in 1989. My teacher tried to get me to change my lefty ways and my mom said heck no, her writing is pretty so she can write with whatever hand she wants. Thanks mom. Whenever I try using my right hand I turn into a size marmita, so I wouldn't want to subject anyone to that. You can now make more money at a McDonald's than working in a school. Whether that's true depends on many factors, but there are places that is true. Don't drink while or immediately either side of running, you'll get the stitch, aka cramps. Leading to a lot of dehydrated kids on cross-country day. And absolutely no swimming within 30 minutes of eating or you'll get cramps and drown. What a great ruse to give the parents a half-hour break from watching us hellions try to drown each other. That you needed 8 pieces of bread and 4 glasses of milk every single day in order to be healthy. The hold that the agricultural industry had on early childhood education in the US is actually cartoonishly insane. Columbus discovered America while trying to prove the world was round. He actually landed in the Bahamas. There were already people there, he didn't discover shit. Also, everyone already knew the world was round. His idea was stupid not because they thought he was gonna fall off the earth, but because as far as everyone around him knew, there was just one massive ocean between Europe and India.